Boca Raton is a very highly coveted city to want to move to, but every city here has its cons. So in this video today, I'm going to go over the pros and cons of living in Boca Raton, Florida. My name is Blasko, and I am a local real estate agent here in South Florida, and I would love to help you out with any of your real estate needs. My phone number is going to be here below on the screen, as well as in the description, and you can book a link directly on my calendar if you want to schedule a call. If you're new to the channel and want to stay updated with all my videos and new content I'm putting out, hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. The first thing we're going to start off with today is the activities here in Boca Raton. This is going to be a pro because there's so many activities to do if you live in Boca. Boca Raton has over 40 public parks throughout the city, so if you really are an active person and you want to lead an active lifestyle in Boca Raton, you can really do that with all of the amenities that are here. You can stay active by cycling, jogging, running, skateboarding, all up and down A1A and the beaches here in Boca. Another pro we're going to be talking about here is the school system in Boca Raton, Florida. Boca Raton has some of the highest school ratings throughout South Florida, with almost every single school in Boca Raton rating a 10 out of 10. The lowest school rating here in Boca Raton is a 6 out of 10, so let's go over some of the schools. As you can see here, all of the elementary schools in Boca Raton are 10 out of 10, which is great if you are looking to relocate with young children. If we're looking at the middle schools for Boca, you can see the lowest rating is an 8 out of 10, which is Eagles Landing and Loggers Run. The rest are 9 and 10 out of 10. And when we get to high schools, you can see the lowest rating is a 6 out of 10, which is Boca Raton Community and Olympic Heights. There are also tons of great private schools and alternative schools in Boca Raton if you don't like the public school system, so your options are always open, but just know those come at an out-of-pocket cost. Speaking of schools too, just to throw it in, Boca Raton is home to FAU, which is a great university here in the state of Florida. So if you have kids that are transitioning from high school to college, I would really look at FAU as a great place to put them. One of the cons you might not expect to be in Boca Raton is going to be the beaches. Now, this is listed under a con because there's daily parking passes you're going to have to purchase if you want to park at the beach. And if you don't pay the daily parking pass, you can buy a Boca Raton resident parking pass, but that's also paid as well. The parking in Boca Raton beaches is very minimal. It's not a huge public beach like Deerfield, Pompano, or Fort Lauderdale. They really are more private, smaller beaches with a lot less accessible parking. Now, the beaches are a little less crowded for sure, but you're not really going to be able to park, and you're usually going to have to wait a while to get a spot if you do actually have a pass. All right, another big con of Boca Raton is going to be the housing cost. Now, the median sales price in Boca Raton is $1.075 million. With that high housing cost does come really beautiful homes, really nice neighborhoods, but it is very expensive to live here. There's really beautiful gated communities in Boca Raton, but a lot of them come at a cost. The cost of some of these communities, being that they are country clubs, is usually a really high initiation fee. Take, for example, a community called Boca West. They have an $89,900 non-refundable initiation fee just to be a member of the community. Now, these communities usually come with annual dues, which is around $15,000 per family, so that might be a little high for some people, but it's just how it is in Boca Raton. A lot of the communities are like that. But if you like to be in those golfing communities, have access to a clubhouse and a really tight-knit community that's gated with very beautiful homes, it really might be something that you would want to look into, as the home prices in those neighborhoods are usually lower, but they're compensated because of the initiation fees and the annual dues. All right, let's move on to another pro, which is going to be the boating community here in Boca Raton. Now, if you're an avid boater and you love to be out on the ocean, Boca Raton is going to be a great place to move because there's boat slips everywhere. There's a very popular place that everyone goes to called Boca Lake, which people bring out their boats, they raft up, they bring out jet skis, and it's really like a party on the weekends. It's a very fun, nice community to be a part of, especially if you have a boat. And as well, if you're looking to move and you have a boat, you want to live in a place like Boca Raton because there's a ton of waterfront properties with boat slips and easy access to the ocean, so you don't really have to give up that boat if you're looking to keep something and you want to move somewhere that has a straight, easy access through the intercoastal. This is definitely going to be a place that you want to check out. Next thing we're going to move on to is the weather here in Boca Raton, and I'm going to put this as a pro and a con. We have summers which are brutal, 90+ degrees. In the summer, it's also our raining season, so it's not only hot, but there's tons of rain, which causes massive humidity, and the humidity really makes it feel like around 105 degrees. Another con about the weather in Boca Raton is going to be the hurricanes. Hurricane season is going to be June to November here in Florida, and it's really a serious weather event, but if you watch the news and you stay prepared, you should be fine. For the weather pros here in Boca Raton, we're going to have to say the weather here for the most part all year round is really great. Most of the year, we're in the mid 70s to mid 80s with a nice breeze coming off the ocean. So it's a really great climate to want to live in year round because we also don't have snow whatsoever. Overall, the weather's breezy, light, and not cool, but not super hot. We're right in a nice tropical climate. Moving on to our next pro is going to be the safety here and the crime in Boca Raton. Now, Boca Raton is an extremely safe place to live. If we compare the crime rate of Boca Raton to the rest of Florida, Boca Raton comes in 40% lower in crime, so it really is a safe place to be. The police and the communities here are pretty tight-knit in Boca Raton, so overall, if you're looking to move here with a family and you're worried about crime, I definitely would not be too worried about living in Boca Raton as it is very safe. All right, another con is going to be the traffic and the transportation here. Now, the traffic in Boca Raton really is not too good, and especially with the tourists that come in from out of town, it makes it very congested on the roads, especially going north and south on Federal Highway and east and west on Camino Real and Palmetto Park gets very congested. There's also the Boca Mall that makes it congested as well. So during peak season, like the winter and the summer, when all the snowbirds are down here and all the people are here for spring break, it can get very clogged and very hard to get through traffic most of the times. Not only is the traffic pretty bad, but Florida is known for having pretty bad drivers. No one uses their blinkers. People merge and go extremely fast throughout the streets. Not everyone does it, but it is something to be aware of, that it might be a change in pace in driving from what you're used to. Another bad thing about the transportation in Boca Raton is that there's not very good public transportation. So if you don't have a car, you just want to be aware of that the bus schedule and the transportation is a little sporadic. So if you're looking and relying on public transportation in Boca, you might want to rethink about getting a car. Moving on to our last and final con is going to be the nightlife here in Boca Raton. So if you like nightlife and you like nightclubs, Boca Raton is definitely not going to be the place for that. Most of the bars and the nightclubs here in Boca Raton close very early, so if you're a person that stays out late, you're most likely going to end up having to go to Fort Lauderdale or Del Rey, which is kind of an inconvenience if you want to stay out close and you don't really want to be too far from where you live to go out. You know, Boca Raton just doesn't have those options. While there is great food and there definitely are bars in Boca, they do close a little bit early, so just keep that in mind. If you're new to the channel and want to stay updated with all my videos and new content I'm putting out, hit subscribe and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, click this playlist right here and it's going to bring you to everything that you need to know about the South Florida area.